Hello, everyone, and welcome to Disney Magic Podcast, a fun new Disney podcast hosted by a British guy. I'm your host, Zach Campbell, and you can join me every other week for magical stories, amazing guests, intriguing history, and overall a trip down Main Street, USA. From Disney parks to a galaxy far, far away, we'll be talking all things Disney and just how magical it is. Get ready for this episode because it's starting in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Magic of Disney podcast. I'm your host, Zach Campbell, and we have a super exciting guest today. We have the one and only Melikka Games, but before we get into that, we have a lot to talk about this week. We're going to get into that in a minute, but first, I just want to say a big thank you to all of y'all who have subscribed and just enjoying the podcast. It has been super, super cool to have all of y'all take part and interact and all of that fun stuff. And I just want to say thank you to all of y'all. It's been amazing. I've loved doing this, and yeah, many more to come. We are now on Spotify, so in case you do want to go and check me out on that, we'll leave the link down below for you, and all the socials where we've got Twitter, we've got Reddit, and we've got the Spotify podcast as well. So if you want to take me on the go and you don't have YouTube Premium, Spotify's your plan. So, without further ado, we're going to get Melikka in here and we're going to join in. And 3, 2, 1. Melikka, hello, how are you?
Hi, I'm well. How are you?
Good, thank you. As if I've not asked you this question already. We've not been speaking for the past 5 minutes, so good. Welcome to the
Honestly,
podcast. Welcome to the podcast.
thank you. I'm so happy to be here. I'm excited. I'm excited that I'm your official first guest, and I'm also nervous.
Nothing to be nervous about. Nothing to be nervous about. No, I'm super excited that you're the first guest. I mean, I have been wanting to collab with you for a while. I feel like we've known each other for quite a while now, but we've never had the
Yes,
chance to collab with anything. So it's
at
kind of
least like
like,
2 years.
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the joys of me doing YouTube on the other channel that is now kind of like derelict and just falling apart slowly. I go like it's one of them. I just go through things. And I'm like, yeah, I want to do YouTube, and it's like I've been trying to get that channel off the ground for like 4 years. I was like, it's been through so many reiterations. I'm like, no, I want to do a
Right.
podcast now, and it's like, yeah, and I'm like, I know, I'm enjoying it so far. I'm enjoying it so far.
Yeah. I feel like with YouTube content creation, whatever you're making, you just have to be like super passionate about, right?
That
And
is
that
it.
helps
That is it.
drive you like to keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's always been Disney. Like I've always tried to put Disney in something or other because like I feel like you're the
Yes.
biggest Disney nerd I know apart from myself. Like, we have that much. Yeah, I feel like you've got that. I feel like you might be like on the same level as me for like Disney
I think in
filmmaking.
ways. I think in ways.
Yeah.
From my perspective, from what I see, what you like from Disney, I feel like you're way more into the movies than I am. I'm like more into the theme parks. Like
Yeah.
I could care less if a new movie comes out, but if they take that movie and turn it into a ride, oh, I am there. I
Oh,
want to watch the movie.
hell,
I'm
hell
invested.
yeah.
Like
Hell
I'm
yeah.
into like the universe. But if they have not made into a ride, I'm like, what is that?
It is what it is.
Never saw her.
Yeah, I feel
That's
like
how I feel.
yeah, some of the movies, I mean, I'm okay with. Like, it takes me a while to watch them. Like, the only
Yeah.
reason I watch like the last movie I remember watching was Strange Worlds. That was the last one I watched,
Oh,
and
that's pretty new.
that was so like hands down. Even though it had no like promotion, it was so good,
Yeah, it
so
was.
super. It was so good. And then
I was
before that,
actually at Disney World, and they had like a special preview screening room that you can see
oh,
the preview, or the not the preview, but a special sneak peek of one of the scenes of that movie. And I'm like,
oh,
what is this? Like, I've never heard of it. Let's go
yeah.
in here. It's raining. Like, it was
Yeah,
literally like storming. So I'm like, let's go see this.
get out of the rain, go watch a
Yeah.
movie. But it was such a good movie. It was such a cool like aspect. I feel like there's lots, and then the one before that. I mean, I watched Encanto like 6 months after, and
Oh,
then
I haven't seen that one yet. And they
Luca.
added it.
They've
They added
added,
that
yeah,
to
they've added
Disney
Dreamlight
Dreamlight
Valley.
Valley.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Dreamlight
So I'm like,
Valley. Oh my my god, I've not
Yeah.
played that game in so long. Like,
Really?
I actually haven't. I've just not had the time, like with work
Oh my
and
god.
studying.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Kate, so they had, okay, this is off topic a little bit, but it's still about Disney. They had a Star Path. God, when did it start? I think February. And like the stuff that you could get was all Disney park
Oh,
themed.
I've seen this, and
And it's over.
I probably missed it, but everyone had like
You did.
someone. I'm in like a group on Facebook, and someone was like, "I've got 100 Ferris wheels." I'm like, "Why? Why have you got 100 Ferris wheels? What is the
Well,
purpose?"
that's a life hack. I don't even know how to do that.
This is the last time I played Disney Dreamlight Valley. I've not
Yeah.
played it since the Scar update.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah, that
was
was.
the last time I played it.
I feel like that was like Christmas-ish.
Yeah, it was.
As a while.
Like just out, I think it was just before Christmas. Oh no, I did a little bit of the Christmas stuff. I think a little bit.
Yeah.
I did like I decorated my village for Christmas, and I was like, yeah, I put my Christmas tree away, and I was like, this is.
I still have my Christmas tree out in the game, not in real life. In the game.
My Christmas tree came down in real life.
Yeah.
I was like, do I put it in one of these like bare ass empty rooms that I've got? And I'm like, yeah, probably somewhere.
Yeah, that's smart. That's smart. I just left it. I'm like, it's beautiful.
It's so pretty. It is a pretty game, but oh my gosh, I've not played it in forever. I keep telling myself I need to get back into this. It's like, when do I have the time to play this game? Like,
that's the thing. And then
it's like, oh,
that's the thing with that game.
I'm missing playing it, but like, it's like, oh, I just getting home from work from like 8 o'clock at night, and then I've got like to have dinner, and then I'm eating, and then I'm not going to bed, and then going bed like 9 o'clock. It's like, and then Fridays I'm just busy like all weekend. It's like I don't have time. This is like the last time I've sat down today. No joke.
No time for video games.
No time for video games, and that is just adulting in a nutshell. That.
Yeah, I would say it's a good thing. It's a bad thing.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. But yeah, so I'm super excited that you're here as my first guest, and like I say, I've been wanting to collab with you for a while. I feel like this is the best opportunity. In case you all don't know, Melikka is in Canada. I woke her up, like I called her until she woke up.
Yeah, it's like 6 a.m. for me. Wow, I'm just kidding.
It's like 5 a.m. for me here. What time is it for you? 9?
It's actually like 10:30 in the morning. It's totally fine. I slept in.
She got rid of the baby though, like. She shipped the baby off to grandma's. Like,
especially for this podcast, yes.
I felt so bad. I was like, "You sure that's okay?" Like I was like, "Oh."
Well, granted, she hasn't seen him in a hot minute, and she really wanted to, so it actually worked out. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
That's so good. So I'm actually ahead with this. We're recording a week in front. This will be coming out next Friday. So go me.
Okay, cool.
Gives me a week to edit it and all that kind of stuff.
Awesome.
But I am kind of one of those. I'll probably stay up and edit it tonight because I'm like, I'm just gonna edit it anyway.
Yeah, get her done.
That was a Cars reference. You're welcome.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's such a Canadian thing. We say that in Canada a lot. Just like, get her done.
That's so cool. The cable guy, it's like, get her done.
I wonder, is he Canadian? I know he like acts super American, but I wonder if he actually is.
So I found out something about Larry the Cable Guy, and I don't want to break anyone's like spirits here. He don't actually talk like that, like at all.
Yeah. I feel.
Sophisticated dude. Now I found this out about 2 years ago, and I was like,
wait a second. Hate to break it to you, Zach, but most actors act. The illusion. Yeah, honestly. But I feel like he's Canadian. I could be wrong. I haven't fact checked. I'm just
actually curious. I'm gonna have a look. Let's have a look. Larry, I can't reach my laptop. It's so far away. I've got like a sofa in my room, and you'll see it. But like,
nice.
When you see it, and it's just so comfy, and I'm just sat in like a really awkward position right now.
As long as you're comfy, that's all that matters.
His real name is Daniel Lawrence Whitney.
Daniel
Lawrence Whitney, and he was born in Pawnee City, New England. So he's an American.
So he is from. Okay, interesting.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Well, The more we learn. Live searches on the podcast.
That is the one. That is the one. Good God, he's 60 years old. No way.
Wow.
A legend. I love Larry the Cable Guy.
Yeah, he's pretty great.
Like, he's good as an act. Here's the thing about Larry the Cable Guy, though, for me. Like, I love him as Mater and, like, in movies and things like that, but his stand-up is... Because I'm English, I don't know if you've ever watched, like, English...
On yeah, no.
Like, stand-up, which is so, like, witty and, like, dry and
Yeah.
everything. Some of these
Yeah, the
American
comedy's
ones,
different.
we're very different. Like, we can say some dark shit and be like,
It's fine. I love that. I should look into this more.
I'll give you some recommendations, my guy. Like,
Awesome.
but yeah, his stand-ups, it's very specific to like southern US. And it's like I love the
Yeah.
accent, but it's like I don't understand the humor, so I just look at it. I'm like, is this supposed to be funny? Like,
Yeah, I don't remember any of his stand-up because I feel like he was popular when I was younger. I don't know how old I was, and my dad would watch it, so I wasn't really too like into it.
Speaking of
But
being
yeah.
younger, Tim Allen's going on tour. That I found the other
I
day.
saw Tim Allen like in Vegas.
Oh really?
Yeah, I still have the ticket. I have the ticket still in my fridge because it was that amazing. He is so good in stand up. He is oh my god, he is just a totally different person. Like you see him like in Toy Story, you see him even on like Last Man Standing, right? You kind of think you know his comedy and then you watch him on stand up and you're like, "Holy shit." Like I didn't even know you could get better. But I didn't know he's going on tour. Oh my god, I got to look into this.
Probably with them on my Facebook is like Wisconsin. I think he's touring like some of the Midwest.
Oh, cool.
So I mean,
I would love to see him again.
that's the thing.
Yeah.
Though, like because one of the things that I miss like being in England is like I don't get to see all these people because they hardly ever come over. And I was so,
Yeah.
the last thing I went to see that was like a big thing was like they started off over here was a band that I really like, and it was the first time ever in Manchester. I was like, I got to go, and it was so good.
Yeah. If they're coming here, you got to go. Otherwise, you might not see anybody else for a decade.
I'll be too old. Like I'll be 39 at that point. I don't want to be going out.
Oh, honestly, the older you get.
Don't tell me that.
I hit 30 a month ago.
Oh.
Yeah, it happened. It was
Congratulations.
Thanks. It's not as bad as you anticipate. I think because you anticipate it for so long. Because I remember like one of my friends turned 30 and I think I was still like 25 or something like that. And I was like, oh my God, like I can't imagine like what she's going through right now. Like I feel so bad for her. And then now that I like went through it, I'm like, okay, I think the anticipation of getting closer to 30 was worse than actually turning 30.
That's exactly how it is.
Yeah. But then, yeah, it was fine. It was fine.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
But then I woke up probably 2 weeks after my birthday and my back felt broken. I'm like, oh, okay, it hit. I'm 30. Just randomly, you feel broken all the time.
No, I feel that. Like,
Yeah.
my 30th, I've got it planned out for next year. So, well,
You're going to Disney, right? Disney World. I saw your poll. I'm pretty sure I voted Disney World because I feel like that makes more sense if you don't make frequent trips. You might as well just see it all. Don't go to the small park, go to the big park.
I mean, I do want to go to the OG park. That is on my
Yeah.
Well, my bucket list is
Oh, right, because
Disney thing. Like,
you haven't been to Disneyland, right?
I've been to Disneyland, no.
Right.
Purely because, here's the thing though, from over here, Disney World is easier to access. So over in the UK, we can book everything together as like a package deal.
Like your flight, hotel. Yeah, nice. Okay.
Plans,
Oh, wow.
Disney photo pass. You get like so much money to spend. You get like Disney vouchers and things like that.
Oh, wow.
Included for like the whole of your stay.
Yeah.
It's pretty baller, to be fair. But then when you go over to the West Coast for like Cali, you need to do everything separate. So you need to do flights, you need to get a
Uh,
hotel, and then you need to get a travel agent involved. It's like it's so much extra steps, but
yeah.
I feel like it'd be worth it because it's Walt's Park. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's where that lies. And I feel like, good God, I've walked down the main street of Walt.
The actual, yeah, the first. Well, and like with Disneyland too, it's sort of a different trip in itself because you're not there as long as you would be in Disney World, unless you want to, right? But like it's not typical you're gonna want to spend a whole week at the parks because there's only two.
That's it. I have heard that you can do both parks in like 4 days max, and that's everything.
Yeah, depending on the time of year, you could do like one park a day and actually see it all. I've done it.
Yeah,
It just depends how busy it is. But then you're kind of making a different trip out of that because like maybe you'll go to like Warner Brothers Studios and do like a studio tour there and see like the back lot and like go on sets and stuff.
that's what I
Um,
do. Yeah,
like
yeah,
yeah, or go to other theme parks in the area or even San Diego. Like it's totally a different trip that you're planning. While I feel like Disney World, like you're going to Disney World and like maybe if you have the time, you'll add in like a Universal or something else.
all the key
But like
points. Yeah,
it's just because you're there, you know?
that's it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like because there's such a drastic difference, because to me, Disneyland is more like I don't want to like degrade it, but it's more like a roadside park because it is smaller. If you think
Yeah.
if you think about it, like I don't know if you know this statistic, but Disney World is the size of San Francisco.
Yes.
Like
It's
it's
huge.
huge. It's classed as a town, like it's classed as a
Yeah.
city. Like
But I
the amount
think
of
though
times you go
that
back there, you're never gonna do everything.
yeah, it's totally different. But I think even though Disneyland is smaller, you still have like more stuff to do still, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
There's still a
yeah,
lot of like rides because I find that Disney World is like kind of intentionally more spread out because they have all this space,
yeah.
even like within the park itself.
That's what I
Um,
understand. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, but there's still a lot. And like even Disneyland has actually my favorite ride ever, which is the Indiana Jones ride. And that's only
So good.
it's only in Disneyland.
So
So for
good.
that reason alone,
100%. And what
it's
characters
yeah.
do you get? Dinosaur?
Yeah, it doesn't even compare.
No. See, that was meant to be an indie. That was meant to be an indie ride, I think.
It should have,
It
but
should have been an indie ride,
they
but
didn't have the rights, right?
no.
Or something like that.
Yeah, it was something like they didn't have the rights at the time, and it was like
Yeah.
so they just
They
went,
only had them in
nah.
California and then they couldn't like
Yeah,
translate
yeah,
that over to yeah, for
yeah.
laws. It's confusing. But yeah, it's a great ride.
But
Yeah,
now they
I
own it. They should just change it. Like, give us
oh,
an indie theme park, boys. That'd be fucking
a
sick.
whole theme park.
An indie theme park. See,
Yeah.
I prefer Indiana Jones to Star Wars any day of the week. That is
But have you been to the new Star Wars area that opened up in what was it, 2018?
no. See, I want to go to Galaxy's Edge just to say I've been. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Experience that and then
yeah.
you might have different
That's
opinions.
it.
Cuz I'm not super into Star Wars either, but because they had the whole like area Galaxy's Edge or whatever,
Yeah.
I watched the movies. I'm like, "Oh, these are okay." And then I went to the theme
See,
parks and I was like,
I
"Oh,
like the
wow."
OG trilogy. Like, I like 4, 5,
Yeah.
6. I think that's as far as I go.
But like the area is really cool. You feel really immersed,
It
and
looks
like even the
cool.
transitions between areas because of Disney World, like one side of it you're like by the Muppets land, and the other side of it you're in Toy Story land, and you don't even know that you were. They just transition it so nicely, and all of a sudden
It's
you're
so
like
good.
in space.
They're so clever. They're so clever.
They are.
I
It's
feel like that's
crazy.
the same with like Pandora, Animal Kingdom. Like the way they did that is just
Yeah.
so beautiful. It like I'd love to like. It just looks amazing.
I like with Pandora, I like the intentions they had, but I think the reality is they just didn't expect it to be so condensed and busy in that area
Very
because these
true.
like
Yeah.
the lineups for those rides are so long and not everybody can ride them in your party. So you have
No,
just
yeah.
so many like people just hanging out waiting for their friends and family like waiting like
It's like
for the or who are on the
300 days
rides.
every day for Flight of Passage.
Yeah, it's insane. But it's just so crowded,
Yeah,
that
I
area, and,
agree
like,
with that.
you don't get to experience the way it was meant to be experienced because
Yeah,
it's just so crowded
that's
for no
that's
reason.
the one.
But
That's the one.
But that's hard to anticipate too, that
Oh
it's
yeah,
going to be like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Like even with the ride queues and stuff, they try their best, and then it's like you said, 300 minutes every fucking day. It's crazy.
It's absolutely mad, isn't it? Absolutely mad.
Yeah,
But
it's
yeah, I mean, speaking of the parks, it's Pride Month, guys. So happy Pride if you're part
yes.
of the community.
Happy Pride.
I am part of the community. I'm biromantic. I like to, and I announced this a couple of years ago to everyone. I was like, I'm proud. I'm happy. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I don't know if you're part of the community, are you, Melikka?
Not actively.
She's looking. She's looking.
But I support. Yeah.
So it is. Oh, let me just get my screen badoobie up. Let me see if this is working. There we go. I think it'll work. Yeah, I'm technical. I know what I'm doing. I think.
Tech stream or tech podcast.
Tech podcast. Yeah, I know how to press buttons on a laptop. That's all I need. So we've got the Disney World Pride Month photo op, and this is on the documents. If you want to look at it, Melikka, I'll put the link on.
Yes, I'm looking.
So pretty.
Is this in Tomorrowland? I didn't read the actual.
I think it's on the purple wall. I think it's on the purple
It's
wall.
wow. It's so cute.
Beautiful. It's beautiful. Oh, it says over at Epcot.
Oh, this is Epcot.
It says Magic Kingdom on the banner. We've been banned.
Yeah, wait, what? I'm confused. I don't know where it is, but it's somewhere.
But it's so pretty. Oh yeah, it's in tomorrow. Wait, what?
Yeah, isn't that?
Over at Epcot, a new love mural has debuted in World Celebration, but then they found another mural in Tomorrowland near the purple wall.
Okay, so we're correct.
Yeah, I think there's two, but it's just.
I love this.
Pretty. It's just very nice. Like.
I love how they're doing stuff like that, despite what's going on in Florida.
I think
that they're taking that step.
I think they've amped it up to like 1,000. Like they're like Ron DeSantis who?
Yeah. Honestly.
But yeah,
we need to be inclusive. And Disney gets it.
Disney gets it. Like, have you seen the Pride merch they're bringing out as well? It's just so.
No, I have not.
Like, they've got
Is it?
jerseys and things like that. It's just
oh my god.
So pretty.
Like, I love their spirit jerseys like that Disney makes, but like, the price tag. The price tag on these jerseys. I'm like, oh, yeah, Disney.
That's Disney money, that, isn't it? Like $80,
yeah.
$80 for a spirit jersey.
Yeah.
I feel like Universal and Disney have that, because if you go to like I've been watching, like I'm sure you watch Tim Tracker and all that.
I do not know.
You don't watch Tim Tracker?
No.
You need to get on the Tim Tracker train, really. He goes to all the places.
Yeah, I should, but I don't like. It's like we were talking before the podcast started. It's just time. Like, I think anytime I have, I'm gaming, and I don't like watch too much. So yeah, but yeah, only time for Tim.
It's Tim time.
Yeah. Yes.
That reminds me of Home Improvement. Tim the Toolman.
Right. Oh my god, I love Home Improvement.
Same. I grew up that. Wilson was my favorite.
Yeah.
Wilson. But yeah, so Tim Tracker, he goes to like all the parks in like pretty much, well, majority Florida. He lives in like the Orlando area. He's an annual.
Okay.
Like all of them. Him and his wife. They've got 2 kids, Jackson and Oliver. Oliver's like a baby. They've just had 2 kids.
Aww, cute.
I've been following them for absolutely years. Like, how long's Tim been doing it now?
Decade? I don't know. I feel like he's been on for. I know of him. I just haven't gotten invested in his vlogs. Wow.
A good 10, a good 13 years.
Goals.
100%. He didn't start doing the proper Disney stuff. No, he used to be like a variety, like daily vlogger. More so like theme park stuff for the past, like, I want to say 10 years.
Wow.
But him and his wife Jen, yeah, they go through like they have like all these opportunities to go to like cruise lines and all the.
Oh my god.
They've been to the.
That's so cool.
But yeah, Tim goes like everywhere, and it's just I love like what that's one of the main like one of my main source of like keeping up to date with all like the 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 parks and things like that is through Tim, because I
Yeah.
feel like the blogs are a little bit biased with how they bring it out information wise.
Yeah.
But I mean, Tim's just like down to earth, and he's just such a good guy. We like Tim. We like Tim. But yeah,
Yeah, maybe I have to start watching him. I feel like it makes you want to go to the parks more though when you are actively
oh,
watching vlogs and people
100%,
who are
100%.
showing you all the new things or the
Yeah.
treats and the desserts and you're like, "Oh my god."
Like Tim is the whole reason why I want to go to Disney World, because A, I want to meet him, and B, he made me
That
so
would be crazy.
excited for the Tron coaster, and that looks just so insanely good.
Oh, yeah.
Like I want to ride that. I want to ride that at night. Like so
Yeah,
good.
I was at the parks, last October, November, we were there,
Oh yeah,
and they were still building the Tron coaster, so they had
yeah,
the, railway closed down, so you couldn't go on the train, around the park,
yeah,
and then shortly after we left, they opened the railway again, and I
yeah.
saw videos of somebody on the railway, and you can see inside the Tron coaster area, they were doing
So
testing. I'm like, "Oh, that was, like, a week after we left, dude." I'm like, "Oh my god." That would've been so cool. I could've been that person.
that could have been me.
Yeah, sneak peek videos.
Absolutely, absolutely. Oh man, but yeah, yeah. Tim's a golden guy. He's proper down to
Yeah.
earth, and he's one of them. But yeah, Pride Month
Yes.
is a big old thing, and we appreciate it. We support it. We're part of it.
Yeah, for sure. I love that they're doing stuff and the artwork and the
Especially
merch
with
and
everything that's going on with Florida at the minute. Like it's just,
exactly.
in my personal opinion, like I'm not. I don't think I'm in the community as much as I should be, but it's like
Right.
it's just stupid, man. It's just let people be, do what they want. Like if they're not hurting anyone, what is the harm? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, exactly.
as long as no
It's
one's going
just
around like hurting people and committing crimes,
yeah.
then let people do what they do. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, I just feel like it's just we gotta, like, love and accept everyone, and for some people, like, it's hard for some reason. I don't know why.
I don't understand
But
either. It's one of them. It just confuses me. Um,
but we just need companies like Disney to keep pushing things forward and
we do, we do.
not, bowing down to
Yeah,
the government.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Keep fighting the good fight, Disney.
Exactly.
Keeping Disney adults entertained. But yeah,
Disney adults.
Disney adults. That is what we are. That is what we
That's a
identify as.
controversy, title too. I feel like we get a bad rep because we're Disney
Yeah,
adults.
yeah.
We get judged pretty hard. I didn't know this for the longest time, that, like, being a Disney adult was like, "Oh, really? Like, you're an adult and you still like Disney? What's wrong with you?" I'm like, "Wait,
And
that's a thing people think we're
you know
weird?"
what I always say to this, because someone said this to me the other week. Like I'm not gonna like dingy it. I'm not gonna like make a big deal out of it. But I was like,
Yeah.
you still like I was at work and someone was like, you still watch Disney, and I was like,
Yeah.
Disney made the films for everyone, not just for
Yeah,
children. Like
and the park is for everyone,
exactly.
and the universe is for everyone. Like, that's literally the way yeah, it's not like Sesame Street is for preschool. It's very clear.
Yeah. I mean,
But Disney is for
that
everyone,
is very, very true. Very, very true.
right?
Yeah.
But, yeah, I like I said, I didn't know how hard we got judged. I kinda thought, like well, I think it was a blessing in disguise. I thought it was cool to like Disney. And then all of a sudden, I got more exposed to the people who didn't like that, and I was like, "Oh, wow, really? You guys look down at me like this? What the hell?" I think I'm pretty awesome.
Same, bro. Same. But then
And
I
it's not a cheap hobby either.
no,
It's a very
absolutely.
expensive hobby
Yeah,
to like Disney parks, especially.
I don't know if you're like me, but my collection is just
Yeah, even, like, getting merchandise and stuff, and
like
you have a lot of the what are they called? The little heads
the
things?
pops. Yeah, I've got
Yeah.
pops for days, but I've
Y
also got art. I've also got like the pops is a main thing I collect, but I've got stuff from
Mhm.
like God, I don't even know. I've got stuff from like I think my actually saying that I don't even know at this point, because I have now acquired a piece of the Song of the South merch.
Ooh.
About 3 years ago, COVID time, I got a
Yeah,
promo poster for Song of the South.
that's
Um,
cool.
I don't know how much that'll go plates
Yeah.
when Walt was alive, like decorative plates.
Oh, fancy.
I
I think the
know.
most valuable Disney thing I own is the Disney Lego castle.
Oh, I want that. Because do you know
Yeah.
what I only found out the other week? That they discontinued the train station.
Did they already? Well, I guess not
Yeah.
already. It's been out for a while.
And I was like, oh, I really wanted that.
I was debating, but I think my husband was like, "Okay."
I think if I legit have nowhere to put it, it's like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to build this, put it on display because I legit have no room.
Yeah. Yeah, like so with us, we were living somewhere else when I bought it and I built it and had it on display. And then when we moved, we put it in a rubber bin, obviously, because you don't want to lose pieces. And this was like now 2.5 years ago, and I still haven't rebuilt it because I'm not sure where it's gonna live for the rest of its life in this house. Because once you build it, like that's it. You can't move it.
That is very true. That is very, very true.
So I haven't like determined where that location is yet.
You need to get a glass, one of those rotating glass cabinets that they have for like the
Oh my
priceless
god.
diamond rings. Speaking of,
Yeah, but it's my Disney castle.
yeah. Speaking of, have you ever seen the? Is it who did it? I can't think. Was it Swarovski? I can't even pronounce it. Swarovski.
I yeah, I know what you mean. I'm terrible at pronouncing words, so no help.
Yeah, that one. But it was like made out of literally diamonds. It was. I think it was going
And
for
it was
like.
the castle?
Yeah, I think it was like $250,000 or some shit like that.
Oh my god, it's probably beautiful though.
It was gorgeous.
Wow.
It was so
That's so
gorgeous.
cool.
Yeah. Let me
Yeah.
see if I can find a
Yeah.
picture of it. I'll send it. Let me see if I can find
Thank
it.
you.
Okay.
But yeah, I like Lego. I like how Disney made the castle, but I was kind of upset that the castle it's kind of sliced in half. I wish there was a way to have the back half, even if you had to buy it separately somehow, and put it kind of together. So yeah, the way it is, it's just like wide open in the back, and I'm like, oh, it's incomplete. I need the completeness. But it is still quite pretty.
Yeah, it's very, very pretty.
And apparently with the Disney Castle, apparently, to my knowledge, that's the only way you can get Tinkerbell in any set.
Oh,
And so
really?
Tinkerbell alone is worth $50 because somebody who has Tinkerbell would have needed to buy the whole castle to get her.
Oh my gosh.
So she has like a higher price tag.
There we go. That is gorgeous. It's on screen as well for you guys in case you want to look at it. That is
Oh wow.
gorgeous.
Yeah, that needs like
Beautiful.
perfect lighting all around it and it
Oh
would
yeah,
just
100%.
go.
Like those little like
That's
spotlights
so
that
cool.
you can get.
Yeah.
Just beautiful. Just beautiful. It's just
I love it.
absolutely. I think they had one at Disney Springs a while ago, or downtown Disney at Disneyland, and it was just,
Oh, okay.
it was just so pretty, so pretty. Let me close that for a second. We don't need that.
Oh, I found a link to the really big one.
Oh,
Hold
okay,
on.
okay, okay.
I'll send it. I'll send it.
Yay.
Oh, where's my cursor? That's like the huge one. I'm not sure. This must be a store at Disney, downtown Disney.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Um,
Oh yeah, there we go. That's the one.
Disney Springs, yes.
Yeah. Oh, that is gorgeous.
Right?
So pretty. Just imagine like, why would you even put that? Like, would that even fit in a house? Like,
I know. You just have like a whole dedicate. Actually, like get rid of your dining room. All you need is this castle. We don't need to eat at a table. We can just look at this.
that is
That's
it.
crazy.
You have
And the detail.
your friends come round. It's like, where we say we're sitting around the castle tonight.
Yeah.
Just go watch it.
Oh, it's great. Wow.
So pretty. So pretty. But yeah, we're yeah, I don't know where we're going now with this. Yeah, let's get back on track a little bit. So obviously, I mean, the last time that I went to Disney World, it has changed so much. Last time I went with
Mhm.
my family was 2011.
2011?
Yeah, it was a big.
Oh my gosh.
It was a big old. I was working this out the last episode of the podcast. I've not been to
Mhm.
Disneyland Paris in 21 years.
Wait, what? Really?
I went to Disneyland
Also,
Paris for my 7th birthday.
and that was the last time you went?
My brother Jake is now 21. That was the last time.
Wow.
I've not been to Disney World in when did I go? 2011. What day is it? 12 years. Yeah, 12 years.
You are due for a trip.
Very much due. But yeah.
I watched your last episode of this podcast, and I agree. I also like the dragon that's underneath the castle. I think that's the coolest reason to go to Disneyland Paris is for that dragon. It is so neat. And did you know it would be there before you went? I mean, you were also 7, so probably not.
No, because right here was
Yeah.
like I said in the last episode of the podcast. If you've not watched it, it's in the top right files. I keep forgetting to look at my camera, but yeah, I went there and I was like, this is my thing. Like I went through phases when I was younger. I was like, yeah, I love Disney. It's one of my things, and it was like the movies. My Aristocats was the first movie I watched. I was like, yeah, we had all of these VHSs, and then it came around. I went to the parks. I was like, yeah, I appreciate this, and then
Mhm.
the dragon of Maleficent was just possibly like the coolest thing I ever saw.
Yeah.
I legit watched Sleeping Beauty for like 3 weeks after that.
After that, that's so funny. Yeah, we had no idea it was even a thing underneath the castle, and I just think we were just wandering about because I went there with my family,
Yeah.
and I want to say it was also 2000. No, you went to Disney World in 2011, right? Yeah. I went to Disney Paris. I think it was 2011 or something like that. That's probably wrong. I don't know. Math is hard. But anyways, and we were just wandering around, and then all of a sudden we're like, oh, there's a little pathway that goes underneath the castle. Like, let's go check this out. And I was like, oh my god. And at that time, I was actively like watching YouTube videos and seeing, what to do at the parks and this and that and fun facts, whatever. And that never came up. And I was like, why? People need to talk about this.
That's what I mean. No one ever talks about it. Like
Yeah,
it just gets
it's
brushed under the rug. But Disneyland Paris, fun fact, if you don't know, is deemed as the most beautiful park in the world of like the Disney universe.
really wow.
Because of the way they did it. Because obviously, like you've got Sleeping Beauty's castle, which is like, but then
Mhm.
you've got those topiary trees, which just brings that together. And then you've
Yeah.
also got it's not called Tomorrowland, it's called Discovery Land or something. It's all based off like Jules Verne's novels. It's just that
Oh.
very like steampunk-esque type atmosphere, because the Space Mountain that they have there, it shoots you out of like a cannon.
Yes, it is so much better.
Only one in the world, which I actually know. I think there's two. I think the other one's at Disney Sea, which I think again is just
Oh, okay.
beautiful park in Tokyo. It's just gorgeous. I think that is probably like one of my favorites that I would love to go and see. Just
Yeah.
how beautiful it is. It's gorgeous. It really, really is.
Yeah, the Space Mountain really surprised me going on that because I expected it to be well, the one in Disneyland, if I remember correctly, you can sit side by side, and then Disney World, you sit one in front of the other type of thing.
Yeah.
And
I think
but they're mostly the same.
I think they did that for a reason, because the Matterhorn sits one behind the other, and I think they wanted a bobsled type coaster at Disney World,
Right.
and obviously I don't think the Matterhorn would fit at
Yeah.
Disney World, especially in like Magic Kingdom. Like I don't think it'd fit with the atmosphere that they've got going, which I think is
Mhm.
one of the reasons why they've got Expedition Everest at Magic Kingdom, to kind of like counteract
Or Animal Kingdom,
that.
right.
To
Yeah.
counteract that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Good old disco, yeah.
But yeah, I was like really surprised when I went on Space Mountain at Disneyland Paris. I'm like, whoa, what's happening? Like,
Why am I being shot into the moon?
yeah.
It feels like it's also like a fucking like LSD trip at some point, because like
I don't remember that.
there's so much going on, and it's like it's so maybe I don't even know, man. It was one of those. It was like it was one of them when I was young. It was just so cool to be like just how different it is from like the ones in like
Mhm.
the American parks, and I think that's
Yeah.
what sets it apart um, from like everything else in like the American parks. I think it just
Disneyland Paris, do they just have the one Disneyland, or do they have like a separate park as well, like California Adventure, but not California Adventure, obviously? Or do they have two parks like that?
so they have the backlot tour, or is it called? Or is it called? It's called Walt Disney's back the studios or something like that.
Okay.
Which
So it's a separate.
so you remember how Hollywood Studios used to be like the backlot tour and all that kind of
Yes.
stuff? It's
Yes.
essentially a carbon copy of that.
Oh, okay. I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, so they've got the backlot tour there. I think they've got the Ratatouille ride in there as well.
Yes. Yes.
And they do like a food and wine festival there. That kind
Oh
of
my
stuff.
God, really?
Yeah.
I went to the food and wine because that was kind of a reason why we planned it when we planned our last trip to Disney World. The food and wine festival, like if you're ever in an opportunity when you can go, I think it's in October or November? No, it goes from like August to November. It's pretty long. If you're ever in an opportunity, you can be there in that time frame. It is so worth it. It made like Epcot like 12 times better.
Oh yeah.
We went the food and wine festival like ended while we were there, so we did a day of Epcot without food and wine festival stuff, and I'm like, Epcot's not really that great. But with the food and wine festival, I'm like, this is amazing.
Hot takes. Yeah, I feel like the festivals make Epcot like they've got that.
Yes.
They've got the arts festival at the minute. I think.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the food and wine is I think the highlight of the year, isn't it? Because
yeah,
that lasts right up and all the way through like October, November, is it?
and like
they have the Christmas one.
And like the quality of the food you get at the food and wine festival is like going to a 5-star restaurant. Like usually at a 5-star restaurant, you're looking at paying at least $200 a person, and you're getting this amazing quality, of course. But the food and wine festival, you'll pay like $10, $12 here and there to like taste different things, and you feel like that quality of that food is like going for like a $200 dinner. It's wild. But then you drink, and then you walk, and then you ride rides. So it's
Ever After is a pretty good ride.
Have you been on it? Have you been on that one? I don't want to ruin.
From what I've seen of the videos, the face projection just looks scary.
Yeah. It's a fine ride. It had quite the lineup as well. But I feel like it's more like if you're a child, it's the greatest ride ever. But if you didn't ride it as a kid, or if you're not super into Frozen, you kind of see it for what it is, and you're like, well, they just put like a facelift on a different ride. I forget what it was called before. That's what it was. You could tell all they did was just put a facelift on that, but it's still the same ride.
We have one over here that's we did. I don't know if it's still there actually. Kind of similar to Maelstrom. I think it's the same name actually.
Oh really?
Blackpool Pleasure Beach. I think it's literally kind of the same kind of ride. It's kind of like Viking, like Norse history, and it's such a good ride. Like the one at Blackpool was awesome. The one at Disney World is awesome. But I think I mean, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. Maybe I'll ride it.
Yeah.
Just to say I've done it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's how I felt about it. I was just.
It's like my kind of thing as well. I am not a huge fan of It's a Small World. Like I'm gonna put that out there. I will ride.
No, that's fair.
I will ride it just because I feel like it's a Disney staple must do. But one time is enough for.
Yeah, check it off the list. I completely agree with It's a Small World. I was never into it. My mom always loved it. And this last trip that we took to Disney, my son was 7 months old. So of course, we're going to take him on all the rides he's able to go on. And that ride, he was literally, of course, he's a baby. He was obsessed. And he would just sing and dance, and he was like in the baby carrier on me, and he would be like jumping in there, and he'd be like pointing, and it was like not actually pointing because he's only 7 months, but when they're like indicating like with their arms, like that looks cool. So that experience of watching your child experience a ride, it suddenly becomes your favorite ride. Like this is no longer about you. You're like, oh my God, It's a Small World is the best ride. Never get rid of it. Anybody that hates it, shut up, have children, take them on the ride, and then we'll talk. But it's so cute to like see your kids experience that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
100%, 100%.
Especially babies.
Oh yeah,
They're so cute.
they are
Yeah.
so cute. I can attest. Babies are cute.
You work with babies, right?
I do.
Or do you
Yeah,
older?
I work with children. So I work with all ages over my
Okay.
long
Kind of
tenure in
varies.
childcare. Currently work with
Yeah.
like 13-month-year-olds, so like
Oh, okay.
so just
Yeah.
like the toddler tots, kind of like just
Yeah.
starting to walk age.
That's cute. Yeah, that's my son. He's been walking for a little bit. He's running now, so it's like nerve-wracking, but it's cute.
Oh, bless him. That's cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to take him back to Disney because I'm like, oh, it'll be like a whole new experience. He can run.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
But
Um,
but what's your favorite ride? If your least favorite ride is It's a Small World.
favorite rides. I mean, like, what are we talking here? Like park wise, or just like in general?
At the parks, yeah, at the Disney parks. What's your
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
all time of all the parks, everything you've experienced?
Of all
Yeah.
parks, I
Yes.
mean,
Yes.
park specific rides.
All time favorite.
Okay.
Because like I said, mine's Indiana Jones. So
Mine's India. Mine Big Thunder Mountain. Like
Big Thunder Mountain.
Big Thunder
Yeah.
Mountain. 100%. I could
That's
ride that ride every day of the week. I absolutely love that ride. It was the first. So I think it's more nostalgia than anything. Like if I had
oh, of course.
like the first time I rode it was at Paris, and obviously that one.
Okay,
I
yeah.
think the one at Paris is just a wee bit longer.
Oh, really?
I
Huh.
think so.
I forgot they even had it there, but I think every park has that one.
Yeah, so everyone has Big Thunder, but like I'll get to that I'll get to like my other point in a sec. But I think it's a little bit long, but it's hands down. It was the first ride I rode,
Uh,
and honestly, it was just so good. I mean,
yeah.
it's a lot better. It's a lot better in like the American because I can actually understand them. I can't speak French, and they was talking French. Them. And I was like, I don't know what you're saying in French.
Yeah, I found that like that sort of made the experience a little bit different going to Disneyland Paris was
because everything was in
the
French. So
French.
I was like,
Yeah.
like
Which I understand. That's totally fine. Like we
yeah,
don't need
but
everybody to be speaking English.
being British, it's like we
Yeah.
automatically don't like the French. So
Mm.
I don't know what it is. We're just born to not like the French.
It's in your DNA. Yeah.
I think
Well,
so.
it's like the same like going to like Shanghai, Disneyland or Tokyo or Hong Kong. It would be the same thing. Like there's going to be this language barrier on the ride. So you're not going to experience that like the same way as if you could
Oh
speak
yeah, 100%.
the languages. But
Yeah.
it's still, I still want to go.
Because that beach
Right.
ride looks gorgeous.
That's literally what I was thinking of while I was like playing that scenario in my head was like being in the ballroom of Beauty and the Beast and seeing the dance and like they're singing the song. I don't know if they sing the song in English because sometimes Asian cultures will keep things in English, but I don't know exactly how that translates to the theme parks.
I tell you what looks good as well, the Zootopia stuff that they're doing over there. Is it?
I haven't seen any of that.
Over that way because they've got a Frozen bit coming over to Tokyo Disneyland.
Wow.
They've got a Frozen bit coming, and they've got. I think they're doing Zootopia there as well.
That's interesting.
Looks really cool.
I didn't think Zootopia was that popular. But then if they're doing Disney rides, and I'm like, oh, I must watch all the videos. Because there's like at least 2, right? Zootopia movies.
There is one. I don't know whether they've announced the second one. I don't know if they've announced it.
Oh, okay.
They kind of
Well, if they're making a theme park area of Zootopia, I'm assuming they're going to make a second.
I'm sure they'll make a second.
Yeah, for sure.
Like with Toy Story 5, I'm not looking forward to that.
Oh my god, I stopped at 3.
I watched 4 just because I was like, I'm curious Curious. I went to cinema to watch
I
it.
think I tried for, but yeah, same thing, Curious, because that one came out like what, 10, 15 years after 3 or something. So I'm
Yeah.
like, what's going on here?
And then like Bo
But
Peep's back and like Woody left. I was like, what is the point in this? We had
oh,
a perfectly good.
what?
So we had a perfectly good ending to 3.
Okay, yeah.
I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry because it makes me cry every time. Where Woody
Aw.
goes, "So long, partner," and then just Andy drives off. And then 4, it was like they were living with Bonnie, and then Forky was made, and it was like like Woody's whole mission was to like find Bo Peep, and I was like, she was in like this like whole thing, and it became like a lost toy because Bonnie never played with him, and
Uh,
it was all this. I was like, this doesn't make any sense. I don't.
yeah.
At this point, I don't care. Like
Yeah.
I grew up with Andy. Like, you know what I mean? Like we all grew up with Andy
Yeah.
in like that era.
Exactly. Like,
And it
I
hit
get it.
home,
Like,
and then it was like the ones that are watching like Toy Story 4, they're not gonna have the same experience.
exactly.
Like
It's a it's a different generation, which I get, but I feel like even when we were kids, we were still watching like older movies that were made for the previous generations, and we didn't like
100%.
demand a remake of Snow White.
No,
You know,
no.
we just accepted it as it
We just
was.
took it as it was. Like we
Yeah,
just took it as it was.
but it's like now, and it just seems like to me like instead of making new original ideas for movies and TV shows, the reboots are doing much better. So obviously, if they're doing well, they're going to just keep rolling with that
Yeah.
and not creating new universes and just expanding the universes that people already know and love.
Oh yeah.
Which, if it works, I get it, but also please stop.
If they are gonna remake them, I saw this post. I think it was on Reddit. It was like, stop making the popular ones. Stop remaking the popular ones. Give
Yeah.
underrated movies like that weren't popular when they first released.
Like Atlantis?
Make like Atlantis, like Treasure Planet.
Mm,
Like those would be
yeah,
amazing live actions. Like
that's a good point.
100%.
Like,
Like
give them a second chance.
leave Emperor's New Groove alone because that is we don't need to mess with that. That's perfect. Don't need that. But Atlantis and Treasure Planet, to give those a new life as like a live action would just be
Yeah.
that'd be
Uh,
awesome. Like because they
yeah.
absolutely plummeted at the box office, and it was all because of DreamWorks at the time. Because like obviously with everything that happened at DreamWorks back in the day when they first started, it was all like they'd split from Disney writers, they didn't want them to be whatever. It was one of
Oh,
those
okay.
things. Yeah.
See, you know more about the movies than I do.
It's because I'm a Disney history buff. I watch.
Oh, the history
I
too.
watch.
See, I appreciate the history of the parks, but that's as far as even that knowledge is pretty limited as a whole.
If I could get a degree in Disney history, I would easily take that any day of the week as a thing. I'd
Yeah,
absolutely smash
that
that.
would be cool.
So the founder of I can't remember his name. I think it was I think it was Alex something. I can't think of his name. But he was a writer for Disney, the founder of DreamWorks.
Oh, okay.
And he wanted to create like he wanted to create a movie, had like screenplays written and everything, and Disney were like,
Hmm.
no, we're not doing that. So when Emperor's New Groove came out, they had what did they have? I can't think what they had. They had like movies that came out just before every Disney release, and it was like everyone was saying Disney. Everyone was like, "Well, Disney's copying DreamWorks." Then that's why DreamWorks did so well at that time in
Huh.
the 2000s because everyone thought that Disney was ripping off DreamWorks because the writers at DreamWorks took the things, made them a little bit better and a little
Right.
bit more edgier to like
Yeah.
kind of
I
appeal
feel
to an
like
audience.
yeah, like with like Shrek as an example, I feel like there's
Yeah.
like jokes that are for the parents, right?
Oh
That
yeah, 100%.
families enjoyed watching stuff like that together
Yeah, and
that
yeah,
Disney was not doing.
100%. And Shrek One is just a complete dig at just like when they go to Farquaadland. That's just a
Yeah.
dig at Disneyland, like 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, with the little like yeah, the song.
Wipe your face, you can wipe your
Yeah.
tears.
Oh my god, so great.
But yeah, that was so that was the whole like reason why like Atlantis, Treasure Planet, Emperor's New Groove. What was the other one? There was another one that like tanked at the
I
box
can't.
office for Disney. But you had like Spirit and all the other movies that came out just before the Disney ones, and that's why
Yeah.
they did so well. And
Interesting.
that's where DreamWorks got most of their money from to make like Shrek and all that kind of stuff. But
Interesting.
yeah, it's very very cool. But I also say that like I'm not hating on DreamWorks because some of their movies are pretty good. Like they've got Minions now, which is like a massive thing.
Oh my god, it's crazy. Even my husband loves Minions, and like that was not a thing that he watched as a child at all. He just thinks they're great.
They are good. They are good. But then I feel
Yeah.
like back in the day, like before Minions and before Shrek, they don't really have
Hmm.
that many IPs that stick out.
That's true.
Like Disney wise, they have these countless.
Toy Story,
Toy
but
Stories, like the princesses, there's countless of them.
yeah,
But it's one of them. It's just like one of them. But yeah,
interesting.
a little bit of history for you.
History of the movies
History of the
and the
movies.
competitors.
Oh, speaking of the history of the movies, the Great Movie Ride. That is a banger.
It
I love that
I
ride.
I do like parts of it, but that scene, like the alien scene, uh
Oh yeah.
I think I was like 13 or something when I went on that ride, and that still like gives me nightmares. It comes from like the ceiling, and I was like, "What the fuck? This is supposed to be wholesome. We were just in Wizard of Oz like 2 seconds ago."
I think the weirdest part for me. I don't know what track you got, but I got I think it was Bugsy.
there's
Was it what?
there's multiple tracks.
Yeah. So there's like I think there's like two or three.
I had no idea.
The bit where you get hijacked like by different people. You can either be a cowboy or Bugsy Malone.
I did not know that. Holy shit.
Yeah, there's two tracks in it. It's pretty dope.
That's cool.
Yeah, but it was Bugsy Malone. It was pretty interesting. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
But then I saw the cowboy one. I was like, that one looks even better because I'm a cowboy. I like cowboys. Cowboys are my thing. I like cowboys. Cowboys and pirates. Put them.
Yes.
Slap them, and I'll just be happy. Any of those.
Yeah, they replaced that ride with like the Mickey and Minnie Railway Runaway.
Yeah, I have some
Runaway Railway.
I have some thoughts on that. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Like I'm not
from the outside of but from the outside of the building, to me, no different. You could have told me it's a great movie ride. I would have believed you until we walked inside. I'd be like, oh wait, what? Something's different. There's cartoons everywhere. Yeah. The ride itself I really do like. It's just it does suck when they replace a ride that we love. But that was the whole purpose of Disney, was that it was supposed to be reimagined over and over and over again, and like the rides weren't meant to be there from day 1 to day 100 or year 100 or whatever. But it still sucks. It's just like with Splash Mountain, right? How they're going to like retheme it. And I like the little songs of that ride. I like the little characters. I like the animals. I like
See, I'm happy that it's being rethemed. Like I get it. Like to keep moving forward. And Walt said, the parks will never be complete. And
yes,
it's one of those. Like there's a lot of backsplash with it. Because of obviously like it is a staple Disney ride. Like you go to Disney, you go to ride the mountains.
Yeah.
That is a goal.
Exactly.
Space, Splash, Big Thunder, Expedition Everest. You go to
and like
mountains. You know what I mean?
Are they gonna still call it something mountain? Or are they gonna totally rechange the name that it's not one of the mountains anymore? I have no idea.
Yeah, see, that's
because I didn't think of that until just now that you mentioned like all the mountains. Oh yeah, that's
what are you gonna refer it to? Like
yeah.
Grab the bayou.
Yeah. It's not the same. But
I mean, I'm happy for it because I do like Tiana. I feel like Tiana is my favorite princess.
I have not watched the movie because they have not made the ride yet.
So Tiana is probably like the most down. She wasn't actually a princess. She was just a
okay.
She was just a regular person who married into royalty, which
Ah,
if you know the Disney laws of like being a Disney princess, and that's one of the criterias of like becoming a
right.
Disney princess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, she was she was it's a good movie. It's, she earns a way to like, and she never gives up a dream of like trying to open a restaurant and things like that. Um,
That's cool.
it is
She
it
makes
is
the beignets, right? Is that like that's her
beignets.
thing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's her.
Beignet, sorry.
That's that's
I say
her.
everything wrong.
No worries.
But yeah, those are delicious.
Yeah, they are.
I had those like the Mickey shaped ones. Our last trip too. I did lots of things I never done on our last trip. I was like, wait, I've never tried these before.
I want to try
They were
them.
so good.
Oh yeah.
Yes, literally.
But yeah, so I feel like I'm looking forward to it. It opens next year, I believe, 2024.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that, seeing how it is. But it is a little bit sore to see Splash go because of how important it is to like the parks and everything like that. It is like a staple of
Mhm.
it, isn't it? I mean,
It is.
how do you feel about it?
I get it because I do understand like the whole like yeah, like we're talking about like Walt Disney always said like the park's not done, it will always change, it'll always evolve. That's fine. I get that part of it. When we were last there, like we didn't go on that ride because like everything had the longest lineup in the world, which is classic Disney,
Yeah.
especially nowadays.
Oh yeah.
So we didn't really go on it, and it was one of our last days. And I was like, "Hey, we need to go on Splash Mountain today. Like, I don't care if it's raining. I don't care if you're cold. I don't care if you're hungry." Like I was with my cousins too. They're like 9 and 12. Like I don't care. We're going on this ride because they're closing it. And they're like, "Oh, I've been on it so many times." I'm like, "No, they are closing it." I was very persistent.
Do not
And
understand.
we went on Big Thunder before, and my mom was with the baby. So she was watching the baby. My aunt was there as well, and they were just hanging out. And then the plan was that my mom and everybody else except my aunt and the baby were gonna not go on Splash Mountain.
Ah,
And so I was like, hey, fair, that's a good lineup. I can work with that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And right after we get off Big Thunder Mountain, my mom's all of a sudden like, oh, I don't feel good. I can't go on Splash Mountain. I was like, Mom, you get your butt over to that ride. I don't care. And then I lied and I told them because it was nighttime. They're like, we're going to get too wet at night. Like, we don't want to go on this. I'm like, oh, actually, at night, they lower the water level. So you actually don't get as wet. Like, it's an actual thing. Like, I'm the Disney expert. Trust me. Complete lies. This is not real. So they all believe me. And they still said, okay, Mel, you have to go in the front of the log. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Cause like the water levels are low. It's not a big deal. So I sit in the front. And as soon as we go down for that big splash, I duck. They get soaked behind me. They were so mad. But it was great.
So good. That is
And
so
I was
good.
happy to like ride it that last time and kind of like have that moment of like, this is my last experience. The videos always exist on the internet. That the memories are always in my mind.
Yeah.
And the one at Walt Disney is a little bit different than the one at Disneyland, I feel. I think there's more of like the cartoons and songs. I don't know, it just seemed different than how I remembered.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but I can't pinpoint exactly what varied. But it felt like I didn't go on the ride in a way because I think in my brain I have the Disneyland version more ingrained.
yeah. So
But it was
is
still
Disneyland
nice.
closer to you then? Have you been to Disneyland?
No, I wouldn't say either is really close. I wouldn't drive to either because it's too far. And typically, flights to Florida typically can be cheaper more frequently. But then at the same time, flights to California can go on sale as well. So
Yeah.
it's just more time of year.
Yeah. Okay.
Or
Yeah.
I have family too in Florida, so that kind of influences the trips.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, neither is definitely not closer, sadly. I wish.
No. I wish I was
Yeah.
closer.
Yeah.
I remember a while ago. When was this? We talked about this is going a bit off topic, but I remember when we talked about being neighbours in Celebration.
Oh my god, you were streaming.
Oh, is that
You were
right?
streaming. Yeah. I don't know how we got in the conversation, but yeah, you were streaming.
I was like, we need to
And
get
then we went
neighbours.
it was around the time that they announced that they were building the like official town.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, and you're like, let's buy houses. I'm like, yes, let's buy houses. And we'll be neighbors. And then we'll just do the Disney World vlog live.
Yeah, we'll just do that.
Oh my god, if only it worked like that.
I know,
Because didn't you, I don't know if I remember this incorrectly, but recently, didn't you say you're looking into possibly working at Disney or? aspiring to do something like that?
I've been wanting to work at Disney since I was like 16.
Yeah.
Since
Yeah, I see that.
since I came back from my trip to Disney World.
Yeah.
But I've
But
just never had the chance to actually do it. It's either like money or see the thing is we're over
mhm.
here because like of all the visas and things that I need to like have and I need to have like
That's what I was gonna say with like the logistics of like
it's
not
so
being American
yeah,
and
it's so
doing that.
difficult to get over there. And
It
I'm
is.
too old to do like the college programs. I'm like
I think
I'm not gonna get into
unless they
it.
changed it, but I think the college programs are only for Americans. I don't know. That's always how I understood it.
They have like an international one where you can work at Epcot, like in your area of Epcot.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
So you'd be able to work at like the Canada Pavilion. I'd be able to work at the
Yeah,
UK Pavilion. But again, it's
right.
still for like college students as like
Yeah.
part of like an experience. You do it for like a summer.
Yeah.
When you're off
Yeah.
like
You get credits. Yeah.
when you're off your studies and things like that. So it's kind of like it doesn't really work in my favor. So
Yeah.
maybe an
Yeah.
opportunity there. I
It's
don't know.
you never know. You never know. You always got to see what opportunities are out there for you.
Very
But just from like I said, just not being an American, it just logistically it's more challenging. And I don't think people realize that. Like it's not like we just live in like, I don't Oregon and you just all right, I'm gonna go to Disney, get a job. Bye, mom and dad. We don't really have that opportunity to
very true. Oregon of
do
all
it that
places,
easily.
though, of all the states you're going to chose, 50, they chose Oregon.
I did. That came to my mind first. I'm not sure why. I don't even think no, I've never been there. Just came to mind. But yeah, I wanted to do that for quite a long time, to go to Disney somehow and work there. And I started dating my now husband when I think I was 22.
Yeah.
No, I was 21. Yeah, so I was young. And even when I first started dating him, like, "Hey, just so you know, like, this is what I wanna do, like, I don't know how long I'll be gone," and when you kinda get into a relationship like that, you start to kinda change your goals, and then you become too old to do your goals, and it is I don't regret it by any means,
Yeah,
but
of course not, of course.
I in ways, I kinda wish, like, okay, I should've just when I was 18, I should just went. Just go.
Should have just
But,
taken that opportunity, but hey, it is what
yeah.
it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, another thing I wanted to do too, before having kids especially, was to go to Tokyo Disney, but just it's so expensive. I don't know how flights are for you from the UK, but for us, like, minimum 2 grand,
Oh
and,
yeah,
like, that's depending, like, are you traveling for 24 hours or 38 hours? Like
that's it. Yeah, same here. It's like £2 grand for the flights, but it was like a 24-hour flight. I was like, oh,
Yeah, with layovers, it's hard to justify, and that's flight alone is so expensive. And then lots of people say, "Well, once you're there, everything's cheap. It's usually the flight that costs you a lot." But I'm like, "Still, that flight."
yeah. Like the price over there because the yen is like down. I watch a couple of like um YouTubers that are like based in Japan.
Yeah,
Not more so like a couple of theme park ones, but then like just general ones that live there and do stuff.
yeah.
Literally the yen is like one to the dollar, if that,
Okay.
or even lower. I think it's like last time we checked, I think it was like 50p to a yen, something like that, or
Wow.
50 cents to a yen. It's mad
Yeah.
how bad it was.
Damn. So it does not make it easy.
No, but
Yeah.
yeah. So let's. Oh gosh. So let's see. Speaking of, let's get back on the topic a bit. We've travelled
Redirect. Yeah.
travelled around the world and stuff. Let's talk about the possibly maybe, in everyone's opinion, of the Michael Eisner era of Disney.
Oh my god.
The
Yes.
extraterrestrial alien encounter, which obviously, if y'all don't know, there is plenty of videos from Defunctland, Yesterworld. I mean, those guys are awesome. Go check them out. Go check their channels out. They do
Yes.
extensive stuff on the Eisner era of Disney, and it's
The dark era.
Let's say, to say it was a very questionable time in Disney history. But
Yeah, for sure.
Stitch's Great Escape, like, so I rode this in 2011. I think it was at like
Yeah.
the peak, the peak of where of its
Do you
popularity, quote
do you
unquote.
remember it?
Oh God, do I? I remember. I remember. It still haunts me to this day, Malika.
Yeah, honestly. I remember it had like no lineup. Like we were just walking through Tomorrowland and we're like, "Hey, there's no lineup for this. Let's go do this really quick."
This is the
Right?
reason why I went. And I was like, "Oh, Stitch.
Yeah.
I'm interested. Okay."
Yeah. And like around that like when the ride obviously came out, Stitch was, a big thing. I never watched Lilo and Stitch really. I don't think I've watched it fully. So I wasn't too into like the characters
Yeah.
or anything like that.
See, Stitch
But
is my
I
favorite, so I've watched like all four.
yeah.
The
There's
series.
4.
There
Oh
is,
my
yeah.
gosh.
We've got Lilo and Stitch 1, Lilo and Stitch 2, A Stitch in Time. No, glitch, Stitch, glitch, what's it called? Stitch in the glitch, glitch in the Stitch. You got the third one. What's the third one called? The third one's based after the series, and then you've got the fourth one, which is Leroy and Stitch, which was like an evil version of Stitch.
That's funny. I forgot they did a TV series. That's right.
The TV series
That was on.
awesome.
Yeah, I haven't watched that either. But yeah, we went on the ride and I was like, "Hey, this is whatever." And then the experience of the ride and obviously that like chili hot dog burp thing. I'm like, "What the what? What is this? This is
and the water, the squirts of water.
Oh yeah." And then it gets so dark and he's jumping around everywhere and like I'm like,
the seat shake. I remember.
yeah.
I don't know if this happened to you, but I was on a ride. It went pitch black. Like,
Oh my god.
Pitch black. All I could hear was this kid scream. It was ear-piercingly loud.
Oh my god.
To the point where like the mum was like, "It's okay, it'll be over," and then they had like the hydraulics on the kid. Honestly, it was awful. This poor kid was
Yeah.
scared shitless.
No one liked it. Not the children, the adults, no one.
I bet I could just imagine the cast members of the day like, "Hey Tim, you're gonna be on a Stitch's Great Escape today." Oh, fuck no.
Yeah, honestly.
I don't want it.
Well, even the cast members, I'm pretty sure like when they work there, like they work a ride. Like if they're working the Muppet Show ride, that's their thing. They report to the Muppet Show, like not ride, but Muppet Show, whatever. 3D show. But like they don't change it up to my understanding.
I think it'd be more like I don't know.
Oh, like yeah, like
a road. Like you're on like within the park. Like today you're in Tomorrowland, but you change like.
Yeah, no, they get hired for rides. So like even if you're working the Jungle Cruise, like you would be hired as a skipper, and then that would be the role that you do is just the skipper, or right, that'd be so fun. And you get multiple scripts that you're able to use, so you can kind of customize the Jungle Cruise, but you still have to use like approved jokes. And then you don't you don't know when, but like secret agents type people will ride the Jungle Cruise to make sure you're not going off script and to make sure you're not doing your own jokes, because you get in a lot of trouble if you do that. But yeah, so when you get hired, like that's your role, like as the skipper. Or your role is, they're probably have proper terms, but like you would be operating the ride or loading people.
At that point, then who looked at this ride and was like, "Yes, this is the ride for me."
The people who wrote it.
I want to be
yeah.
I want to be a cast member on Stitch's Great Escape.
There was that one. That's what I mean. Like who would? I feel like it's like. I feel it's like kind of like default. Like, hey, there was nothing else. So you kind of a couple months, and then maybe we'll move you up to something cool.
Here's what we'll do. You've got a 6-month probation.
Yeah.
Great Escape. If you can make it through that, we'll put you on.
Exactly. Yeah, maybe it's something like you're on a waiting list for like Hollywood Tower of Terror, so you got to do Stitch for 3 months.
Extraterrestrial, man. I've seen videos, I've seen footage of it, but it's a weird time for Disney, man. Michael Eisner was, I don't know.
Yeah. And like seeing like them kind of re-theme a ride like that and then doing a horrible job does also in the back of my mind make me nervous when they're doing it in the future, like for Splash Mountain. It's just like, please learn from your mistakes. Please learn from your mistakes.
I think the scariest thing of Stitch. Did you see the animatronic like skins?
No.
But did you never see that picture? Oh my
No,
God.
I've not.
Let me get
I have
this.
not.
Let me get this up. This was.
I didn't know it could get more scary.
It was awful.
And also the building that they had, Stitch's Great Escape, I'm pretty sure it's just like abandoned. Like the ride's still just sitting there. I don't To my knowledge, they're not doing anything with it.
No, it's empty as far as I know.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like they didn't actually retheme it. They didn't make it to like something different, a little show. I don't know. Nothing.
No, it is. It's just there, rotting inside. There you go. I've got the that there.
Oh my God.
It is awful, right? It's so scary.
That is horrifying. That's nightmare fuel. I'm gonna close that.
There you go. It's on screen for everyone else there. Experience what we experience.
Yeah, that's
But even with like the fur right and everything, it's just still. It just wasn't.
Yeah.
It just wasn't a good move.
Yeah.
I don't know who at the board directed me. I don't know who thought was like, yes, this is a good idea.
Yeah, it's like they wanted to get on like the Lilo and Stitch trend because all the, the kids were loving the show and obviously making multiple movies. They were going well, TV show, whatever. And then it's like, hey, I know. Let's just make it horrible and retheme this ride that everyone already hated.
100%.
Which, yeah. And I can't win them all. You can't win them all.
That is very true. Speaking of things closing and everything happening, I mean, going back to well, we're still in different galaxies far away. The Galactic Star Cruiser.
Yes.
$300 million loss.
Isn't that wild?
That is insane. Now I've watched a few videos on this, and I feel like we're a little bit late to the party, but you know what? It is what it is. I've seen a few videos on this.
They're not closing it till September.
Yeah.
So yeah.
A little bit of time.
Yeah.
The final voyage is like end of September, I believe.
Yeah. Because they had to give more notice for something like this, obviously, because it is an experience. And
my thing is with this is obviously the people that have done it. Like I've seen Tim do it a few times. Obviously, he's been the first time he did it. I think he was like given the opportunity by Disney to do it.
Right. Yeah. Of course, like a media type of thing.
Media event type thing.
Mm-hmm.
But the prices for this, man, like
that's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Because if you think about it, you're already paying to go to Disney. Like for me, I don't know how much it is like your end, but for me to go over like August next year, like for my 30th birthday, it's gonna cost me about £3,500.
Right. Yeah.
Flights, hotel, everything else included.
And how long would you be there for?
2 weeks.
Okay, 2 weeks. That's at least better. You're not like 4 days. Right.
I can justify that price, but then on top of that, you got the Star Cruiser price, which what was it going for? It was like 6,000 for the 2 nights.
I don't think it was quite that high. I think it was about $1,200 per person for 2 nights. So you have to have at least 2 people in the room. If you put it into perspective. And granted, you did need to, in addition to that, have your theme park tickets, like additionally. So that did not include your tickets to the park. You did include all of your food and beverages, assuming you were at the hotel or the spaceship to enjoy those. But in reality, if you're paying not only for, let's say it's a weekend, because typically that's kind of what they were aimed to be on a weekend, 2 nights type of experiences. So let's say it's a weekend, you're paying to be at the Disney park for that weekend, you're paying to be on this Galactic Star Cruiser for that weekend at the same time. How do you divide your time? Do you only go to like Star Wars Galaxy area and then just only go to the Star Cruiser to like enjoy your meals. Like
Yeah,
I just
see,
feel like if you venture anywhere else, you're just wasting your money.
yeah, see, yeah, exactly. So I totally agree. But I feel like
Yeah.
if you're not like, I feel like if obviously this is more aimed towards like the high profile like Star Wars fans. Like I am not.
Yes.
I am not. And
Yeah.
I feel like it'd be a cool experience for those people that enjoy Star Wars. But
And
I feel like it's a very niche thing. Like
yeah.
like I
And
don't
not only is it super niche, but like within that niche, who can afford that, right? Like even if you love Star Wars,
oh
you
yeah.
have an extra $2,400 American to drop on this experience
Oh yeah.
in addition to everything else.
Yeah.
Like it's just
It's just a
wild.
lot of money. And maybe it lives up to the hype. Maybe it does, but I don't feel like it's made enough money, and that's probably why it's being closed. Like I feel for
Yeah.
what we get, it might be worth it, but like at the end of the day, who's gonna justify that price to like, especially for 2 days with where it's not like a separate thing. It's not like a hotel you can stay in. If it was a hotel, I'd understand. Like a themed hotel, like 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 the Art of Animation, or like like an actual resort hotel you can stay at.
Yeah.
I'd understand that, but this is like an extra cost where you're paying to stay in a hotel at the same time. So realistically, you're not going to be staying in a hotel for 2 days. You're going to be staying
Yeah.
in another hotel for 2 days, which to me just makes no sense. Like
Yeah. With that price. Yeah.
with that price,
I think it's just all like if it was a different price, I think that a lot of people would have different opinions about
yeah,
this.
if it was
Um
cheaper, then
yeah,
it's more cost friendly and everything like that. Then
and provided more value for what it costs for
yeah,
sure.
of course, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Well, cuz even like if you stay at nicer hotels at Disney as well, like for that experience, even then I feel like you need to kind of plan like quote unquote hotel days where you're actually spending the day enjoying the hotel, enjoying the pools,
yeah.
enjoying the food, like just relaxing and not like running to the park, running back to the hotel and trying to like experience it all in one day because you can't.
No,
Like
absolutely not. Like you need a
yeah.
day to just relax in the pool and just
Yeah.
take a load off, like resort hop, go to experience the restaurants and the other hotels and things like that. And
Yeah.
I feel like with this, it just takes you away from. I feel like for me personally, I feel like you're just going to be stuck there.
Yeah.
Like
Which is not the worst thing, but
yeah, but I feel like I'm not much of a Star Wars fan like at all. Like we've said
Mhm.
this, and like people who know me know that.
Yeah.
But like, it's even like I don't know. I'm looking at pictures now, and it's on screen for everyone who's watching. But like, I'm looking at like the cabins, and it doesn't look appealing. Like
Apparently even the rooms are like very small. Like the
yeah,
pictures make them look bigger than they are,
yeah, like
which says a lot.
I've heard that they're small. There's no windows because it's meant to be like in
Yeah.
space. So
Yeah, and the location of it too, like your window would be in the like the backlot stuff, which obviously takes away from the immersion. So there's no way
yeah.
you could have even had a window. Like
Oh
there's
yeah.
nothing
Yeah.
to see.
That's it, yeah. So you've basically got
Yeah.
aircon with like no fresh air for 2 days. Like I feel like
It's space. It's great.
yeah, not much space in it for being space.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like
But the food though looks
yeah,
interesting.
the food does
Have
look interesting. Have I scrolled past the food on my?
It's the only place that you can get blue shrimp.
Oh, interesting.
I think they're properly called prawns because they're ginormous.
Oh yeah,
But yeah, I don't know. If it was like, if it included going into the park, like it was worked
yeah,
into the price,
yeah.
I feel like I could justify that a little bit more if I loved Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
Like my mom doesn't like Star Wars at all, and she was like, "We should do that." And I was like, "Mom, like I don't want to pay that for 2 days." And so
Absolutely.
our idea was like, okay, my son grows up and he's a huge fan of Star Wars,
Yeah.
maybe we can justify doing that for him because obviously at 7 months he's not gonna remember absolutely anything or care,
Oh no.
but maybe at 7 years old, that would be the coolest experience of his life, and, we could maybe, look at that idea again,
Yeah.
but now it's not even gonna be an idea.
No.
Like, it's
Absolutely not.
and for a while there, I feel like, we thought that, okay, this is the start of something new and different with Disney. We're gonna have new immersive experiences at the parks. I wonder if they're gonna have different, themed places like this that you can
Yeah.
visit, like we're just starting with Star Wars,
Yeah.
and now it seems like the whole project's just done.
Oh yeah. 100%.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like it was an attempt at something, and they've not quite got the grasp of it.
yeah, and they are working on this huge, huge project during a time when not just Disney is, going through, an interesting economy.
Oh
The
yeah.
world is going through an interesting economy.
Oh yeah. Very much. Yeah.
So it's not like they had all this extra cash flow to just say, "Hey, let's try this out."
Yeah.
So
I
I
mean.
feel like that kind of made them pull the plug a lot
Yeah.
sooner
Yeah.
than they would have if they started this, let's say, in 2018 when Galaxy Edge opened at the same time.
Yeah,
But
see, I think they got a bit like obviously Galaxy's Edge was a huge like success, and I feel like
yeah.
they got a bit happy with that, and they're like, yeah, what else can we do? How can we
Yeah,
make this experience? But
better.
but then we had a CEO change as well from Iger to Chapek, and
Which I have mixed feelings about that too, because I feel like when we got the announcement that there was gonna be a change, we had a lot of hope for the future, and then now, I don't know the specifics, but I feel like we're seeing a lot of layoffs and cutting back on projects and stuff, which we didn't anticipate. We thought
yeah,
that wouldn't happen with the change, and it's happening anyways, which
yeah.
is unfortunate to see, but
I think Iger did that when he was CEO previously as well. Like when he first got back in '05, when he was became CEO first time in '05, and then
okay.
did all the Pixar stuff and became like made Pixar part of Disney and everything like that. He made I think he made a lot of cutbacks then, but he put money more into the parts like California Adventure. He made that into
Right.
what it is now.
Yeah.
He put a lot of money into all the parks around the world and stuff like that. He fixed the parks with like Hong Kong and Paris and Tokyo.
Interesting.
There's a lot of work that went into that behind everything and everything like that. But
Yeah.
I think been a lot of cutbacks with this time, purely because of how much money Chapek was spending.
Yeah.
Because this was under Chapek, and I feel like this was an unnecessary purchase. Like I don't
Yeah.
think this was the right move, and I like I'm not defending. Like obviously there's a, everyone there's probably a reason to it, but like at the same time it's like it was a cool experience. It didn't have to be shut
Yeah.
down. It could have just been amended.
I feel like the idea was fantastic,
Oh yeah,
but
100%.
I feel like it would have worked better on a cruise ship
Yes, yeah,
than at the theme park.
yeah.
That's my opinion. Yeah.
Like a deck separated from like a
Yeah.
deck for like an experience, like a Star Wars experience.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I think would
I
have worked a lot better. Yeah, I totally
yeah.
agree with that. Yeah.
Because then you have, like, the time to, like, enjoy the whole experience for what it is and not have that, like, divide between, like, "Okay, I'm in the park, like, I paid for this, I paid for that, I should do this, I should do that." And then at the end, you're just like, "That was fucking expensive."
Yeah.
Like, it's already done, like, was that worth it?
Yeah,
And, like,
exactly.
it's really cool that they did have it at the theme park because, for the hotel guests, you would take, like, a little shuttle ship to Galaxy Edge, right? So you're only through that experience, you can enter the park right through Galaxy Edge and
Oh
skip,
yeah.
like, obviously going through the whole Hollywood studios.
Yeah.
So it's more immersive in that sense as well.
Mm.
But, like, is that necessary for its success? Or should they have just, like, made this a section of the cruise ship line and be like, "These dates, you can have these experience and on this ship," or I don't know.
Yeah,
I
that's
just feel like it
that's
would have worked better like that. Because even on the ships, they have like pirate nights or whatever. I
Yeah,
haven't been on the cruise ships, but
yeah. So they do like I've not been on the cruise either, but extensive
yeah.
research. Yeah, they have like pirate nights. They do. I think they do have a Star Wars night as well. It's like
Oh, really?
I think so.
That's cool.
I think so. But it's
Yeah.
the days where they're all at sea and things like that. It's really cool. They
Yeah.
have like a superhero night, and it's just real. It looks so good. This cruises look so good.
I know the cruise is like a whole other, whole other. I want to go on one so badly.
100%.
But that's another thing too. It's like the cruises are very expensive. Like, sure, you get more than
Yeah,
2 days for this price
yeah,
on the cruise ship, but they still are very pricey.
yeah, yeah.
And it's kind of like, okay, are the Disney fans used to paying these prices? Because I feel like we're kind of taught that if you want to experience Disney,
You've got to pay the big bucks.
you got to fork up some money. Because even like when you go to Disney World and you're staying at the quote unquote like value hotels,
Yeah,
they're still significantly more expensive than any other hotel you could stay at in Florida. Like there still works out to be like what, like 200 and some dollars American a night for a quote value hotel. And you're like, wait, what?
yeah. Which ranks out as like a 3-star, which is just like,
Yeah, well, I think 3 stars sometimes pushing it.
yeah,
Because they are motel kind of style, because all of your rooms go to the outside like balcony area, like your door is right outside, which is kind of like, that motel isk for 200 and some dollars a night. It's like, all right. That's an expensive motel, Disney, but I paid it.
I will pay that. Why?
Right.
I'm a sucker.
Exactly. So they're already getting us used to paying like a $200 rate a night for a 3-star hotel. So for this 5-star experience that includes your food, includes shows, it includes all these other extra amenities to make it all immersive, we're like, oh, okay, what's $600 a night per person?
We'll pay it.
Or however that works out. It's crazy.
It's crazy. But with this closing, a lot of people have been saying that you can just get the same kind of experience at Space 220 at Epcot.
Oh, I've been there.
How was that? It looks so good.
So I read a lot of reviews about it, and from what I gathered, like when you go there for dinner, there's like a prefix menu, so you're kind of limited on your options, and you have to get like a dessert, or not, sorry, an appetizer, a meal, and a dessert, all one price.
All right.
And it's not good. The food is not good. So the recommendation was to go to the bar, because a bar you can like literally choose, like, I just want the sliders and a beverage and be done with it, which the sliders are very good, by the way. And you're not paying as much to experience the exact same thing. So we did that. I wasn't able to get reservations in advance, because by the time I found out this information that there is a way to make it worth it, there was no reservations available. So we literally, my cousin and I, sat in a little lineup of like 6 people on the floor in front of like the front desk, like, and waited for I think an hour and a half to get a little. All we got was a 2 seats at the bar, and she's like 12, so she thought this was the coolest thing ever. And then she ordered like a little like non-alcoholic drink, and I think I ended up ordering non-alcoholic one as well, because they all just sounded better than the alcoholic ones. And I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna get this. And she loved it so much. She thought it was the neatest thing, because they take you in the elevator up into space, right? She thought that was so cool. And then in the restaurant, or before you go to the restaurant, it seems like you're in like a spaceship. Like they have like the plants and stuff for kind of growing on the wall, and I don't know how to describe all of that. But then you go into the restaurant and it's all wide open, and then there's this big like wall with windows that you can see into space. So anywhere you sit, you basically get a pretty similar experience of what you see. And so I recommend, if you ever do it, to do the bar route, but you can get reservations for the bar, so you don't have to sit on the ground for an hour and a half.
That's part of the experience.
Yeah, it was. And it was the type of day, it was like one of our last days at Epcot. And I think my mom left with the baby because she was tired. So she's like, I'm gonna go back to the hotel for a bit. And then my cousin and I were like, okay, we can either go on rides or like we can try out this space bar and see if we can get in. And it was really cool. I do recommend it. And I recommend the sliders. They were so good. Yeah.
Nice.
But it was fun.
Disney tips and tricks.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's nice too because like you're not I think the prefix menu, I think it was like $70 a person. So even for like the two of us, it would have been like what that's like $140 for something that the food would have sucked. And we didn't even order a drink yet, as opposed to just sharing an order of sliders, which I don't remember exactly how much it was, but at least less than $20 for an order of sliders.
Oh, that's
And getting a couple drinks. So I think we spent like $50 max with the tip compared to 140, which is significantly different for the exact same experience. Yeah.
saving cash.
Yeah.
It's all about.
But if the food was really good, yeah, I would totally get a restaurant dining room
Oh yeah.
reservation.
I think it's
But
more
we
the
also
atmosphere though, isn't it?
yeah, exactly, the atmosphere. But we also did our last day, I was just with my mom and the baby. We did the Beauty and the Beast Be Our Guest.
Oh yeah.
And that food was worth it. That's like where you're paying a lot for your prefix meal, but like it is very good. So
Yeah.
you get the experience and then you get the food and then you get to meet the beast from Beauty and the Beast too.
Cool. Very cool.
But if you do that, recommend the West Wing room.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you say
Yeah.
the West Wing?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I was there I actually went to Disney World for my honeymoon
oh,
and we
wow.
did that. We went there for breakfast because they used to have breakfast still at that time at the Be Our Guest. And we got the West Wing, and then when I went again, I wanted to go back in the West Wing because every other room just it kind of sucks. You have to walk through the ballroom anyways to get anywhere else, and it feels like a cafeteria style. The ballroom, it's cool, but it just feels like a cafeteria. Just the way that there's so many tables.
I feel like the West Wing is like the main part of it. Like everyone wants to sit in the West Wing.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
And yeah, like if even when you have to request it literally when you're like physically there checking in. And they'll ask you like it might be longer, are you okay with the wait? And yes, you made it all the way to Disney. You waited for this moment your whole life.
Absolutely.
You could wait the extra time, but yeah.
Oh man. Okay. So I think how long have we been recording? An hour. Oh my gosh, almost 2 hours. Wow.
Damn.
So I think we're gonna call this an episode. I just want to say huge
Yes.
thank you, Melikka, for joining me, for being the first guest. I hope you've enjoyed yourself.
It was fun. Thank you for having me.
And yeah, it's been super fun. I've enjoyed having you. It's always good to have a chat with you.
Yeah.
you need to-
Somebody who understands Disney like I do.
it's so few and far between.
Right?
But yeah, it's been awesome. I thank you so much. I hope you've had a good day, and I will let you.
Yeah,
get on
it's
with the
fun.
rest of your day.
You as well.
Thank
Thanks.
you very much, and thank you everyone to joining us here today. It's been awesome. I hope you've enjoyed this podcast. I'm not sure how long it's going to be.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You might have some editing to do.
A little bit. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and I will catch you all next time for another episode here on the Disney Magic Podcast. See you later.
Bye.
Peace out.